Hi, everybody. Welcome into Talking Town. Martin's muting my mic. We've got, as you can see now, joined me on screen, friend of the show, West Bromwich Albion fan, help us preview Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, of course, is Chris Hall. Chris, how are things? Or dare I ask that after your result last night?
Yeah, things in Albion world are, well, they're deeply inconsistent, to be honest with you. They are what they are. You know, we win on Saturday. We lose against Watford. The previous week we beat the mighty Canaries in the week, and then
easy win that.
You've done that. Got completely pumped by Millwall on the weekend. So no, we 0 for some. Well, my co-host Joe Chapman's just written an article for our Substack entitled 0 for a semblance of consistency, and that's kind of where we are.
Sounds very highbrow. Of course, Chris is from Albion Analysis, if you're watching, and go and check that out on audio platforms. Well, it's been a miserable week being a Town fan, Chris, as you know, because I've been telling you this. After I can't describe it as a second half capitulation against Charlton, a team that I told you we were probably going to snowball 2-3-0, easy money.
Yeah, but you also told me that there was no way you were getting turned over by Middlesbrough. So
easy. Keep these conversations private, will you? Yeah, I mean, it's not been good.
I think it's important your audience knows how little you know about Town.
Yeah, exactly that. I get it all the time. So, it's kind of high stakes a little bit for Ipswich this weekend, mate, because, as you so rightly say, we were on the back of 2 defeats, and then you're coming in on the back of the defeat against Watford, having beaten, what was it, Preston at the weekend. What was your stat you gave me today? Because I said to you, I feel like you could turn us over.
No,
you threw a little stat down, didn't you?
I think it's incredibly unlikely. I mean, I tell you what, you've had an absolute touch. If it really is a high pressure game, then this is a gift. It's absolutely gift wrapped for you, because Charity Albion are coming to town with the donations. Don't worry about that. The stat is that when the EFL has these double game weeks, if a team plays away both games, they tend to, that 60% of the time they lose the second one. So we're already 60% likely to lose, purely based on the fact that we've been away twice in a week. So that's already working against us. And then you've got the injury situation, which frankly is horrendous at the moment. It's cleared up a bit at the top end of the field. We've finally got Grant and DK back in the squad, but then we give Toby Collier a sort of second start for us against Preston, and he hobbles off after just short of an hour, and he's out now for a little bit of time. Jason Molumby's picked up a knock on international duty that kept him out of the Watford game, and I'm told will probably keep him out of the Town game as well. So we've basically only got 2 recognised fit central midfielders, which are Mowatt and Diakite, both of whom played Wednesday night. And bearing in mind, you're a you're a Tuesday to Saturday turnaround. We're a Wednesday night to Saturday, with it being a very long away day as well. So again, you've got that in your favour. And then we had Alfie Gilchrist hobble off as well. So we've lost our other right back. Our other right back is not a right back; he's a centre half in George Campbell, and frankly, got absolutely rinsed for the Watford winner. So he's not having a great time of it. The only remote crumb of comfort is that apparently Christian Bielik was only out with an illness, and chances are he'll be okay. But we don't really need another centre back. We need a centre mid. We need a right back, or we could really do Jed Wallace back as an option at right wing.
You can always support us. I mean, half your team's in our squad anyway. But one player's not going to be playing.
Darnell Furlong back in a heartbeat, because we've got such problems at right back.
No, look, one player you're not going to see on Saturday, I think, is probably Alex Palmer, come off against Charlton after half hour with a groin injury. I remember you saying to me he very rarely gets injured, and there he was sitting down and subbed before the break, so we won't see him. What the kid Griffiths who's come in, was that who came in and replaced Palmer when you sold him to us?
Sort of. We called him back from his loan at Bristol Rovers, and then we very ill-advisedly gave a couple of months to Joe Wildsmith, who quickly proved that his shot stopping was up there with David Button's. And
that's who you want to play in goal for Town Saturday.
Oh, mate, I'd be absolutely. But he'd have a blinder just out of nowhere. He'd have an absolute blinder.
On the bench.
Genuinely the worst goalkeeper I have ever seen at the Albion. And I saw Paul Crichton, who was terrible, but he was. Nothing against him. I hear he's a lovely, lovely guy, and that's probably part of why he keeps getting picked up by people to be a second choice goalkeeper. I'm sure he's good round the place, doesn't object to being back up, but he's
a coaching role as well, a bit of a coaching role at Town as well.
Yeah, geez, what's he going to teach him? He let over 50% of his shots in when he was playing for us. He was terrible. He was terrible.
You can only hope Christian Walton's in the net, everybody. Saturday.
Yeah, but like I say, it would be so Albion that for genuinely the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen down the Hawthorns to face us and have a blinder. So it would feel just like one of those things. But no, Josh Griffiths. Once Joe Wildsmith had largely proved that he wasn't up to the task, Josh Griffiths came in, had a bit of an iffy end to last season. I think it'd be very fair to say that whilst we had a lot of problems in terms of the change of manager and everything like that, I think if we hadn't had to change goalkeeper, I think we might have snuck the playoffs because it really did impact us that heavily. We let a lot more goals in and a lot that we shouldn't have let in. But Josh Griffiths, he came back early. He went to a training camp with Neil Cutler and Sam Johnston in the summer, so he was back doing bits and bobs early. And I think he's been really good this season. He's let one goal in that was a bad mistake against Derby, but outside of that, he's been really, really good. And whilst the goals have been flying past him a little bit in recent weeks, you can't really blame him for any of them. I saw some people trying to pin the Imran loser one on him in midweek, and it's just a brilliant strike. He's a cracking keeper. He's a cracking keeper, and look, he's younger than Palmer, so our plan is probably build him up, sell him for quite a lot of money down the line. Okay.
Well, Tuesday, there was a first. A McKenna team got booed off, which has been very few and far between, given all the success that he's achieved for us. Obviously, someone who's younger than him is Ryan Mason, coming in for his, at Albion in the summer.
He's younger than me, mate.
Yeah, wish I could say that. How's it going for Mason? I mean, he's won 5, lost 5 in all competitions. Am I right in saying that? I mean, he's obviously 34, first job outside of Spurs, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's a swingometer of football. Like we won Saturday, and everyone's saying, oh, he's tweaked it. We're much better, and all this sort of thing. And then we go and create absolutely nothing against Watford, and genuinely, there's people questioning whether he should be our manager. What I would say is you don't bring in a 34-year-old into his first job and then fire him after a few months. Like, that would be absolutely ridiculous, because I can understand if you hire a grizzled old head type. Forest bringing in Sean Dyche, for example, is expecting results right away. That's what you're doing when you make that sort of appointment. And for example, when we hired Tony Mowbray and it didn't work right away, I can understand why Tony Mowbray gets the sack for that, because you bring in an experienced guy and you expect an immediate impact, because otherwise he's not a project manager, Tony Mowbray. That's not what you're bringing in. But Ryan Mason is a project manager. You're bringing in a guy there who, as well as he's going to develop the team, is going to develop himself, and you kind of hope that he's going to get to a level above where he starts off, because let's be honest, we've all been young in our jobs, and some of us further longer ago than others, Matt. But the bottom line is you don't get everything right when you first go into a role, especially when it's a completely new career for you. And he isn't getting everything right at the moment. I think there is a level of impatience with him from the fans, but part of that is just football. And And part of that is kind of Ryan Mason's bringing this upon himself a little bit, because we have got the third worst XG4 in the division. Only Swansea and Derby have created less chances than us. We're not a good watch.
Oh, we're not on that.
Yeah, we're not a good watch. And basically, if you look back at our last few goals, the one on Wednesday night, the two against Preston, basically we're just scoring worldies. We're relying on Isaac Price and Mikey Johnston to stick the ball in the top corner from 25 yards.
So does this sound like everybody? It sounds like us with Philogene when he's playing.
And this
is on the bench that Tuesday.
And this is it. And look, it's fine. You know, it's fine to a point in the sense that they are capable of doing it. But there is going to come a point. If these guys could stick the ball in the top corner every week, they wouldn't be playing in the Championship for West Bromwich Albion. So there's going to come a point when they stop doing that. And when they do, we haven't got anything else. You know, we had one big chance against Watford, which was a header that Isaac Price should have scored. Outside of that, we created nothing. In the first half, we didn't have a single shot from inside the box. You know, all of our shots were outside the penalty area, which is, you can't be doing that and expect to win games of football. And this has been the case all season. I actually worked it out earlier, and I don't know how many people who listen to your pod could care less about XG. But what I would say in defense of XG is it's fairly accurate, because last season, the difference between our XG and our actual goals was only 1.7. So on that basis, you can say it's a fairly decent measurement of how many goals we will score over a season. If you take our average XG per game and times it by 46, the amount of games that we have, it comes out at us scoring 48 goals this season. That's the same number as bottom team Cardiff scored last season. Yeah. So that's an appallingly low number. And that's at the moment what our chance creation would say we're earning. Now we're performing in and around that, but largely only because, as I say, we've got two players who can stick the ball in the back of the net from 25 yards. And I think that's where the impatience with Mason is coming from, because we are the fifth best team defensively in the league, again, according to XG against. So we don't give up many chances. But frankly, that's not what football fans come to watch. They come to watch teams score goals. And at the moment, in any given game, unless Mikey Johnston or Isaac Price picks the ball up and does something a little bit special, we don't look like we're going to score.
Literally sounds like Ipswich away from home. This does exactly the same story. Mason's going to play 4-2-3-1. He's going to match up with us. Because, as you know, McKenna never changes from that. It's been a bugbear of everyone this week in the shows. We've been add on Talking Town. That's to be expected, is it? 4-2-3-1 Saturday? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a few fans pushing for him to go to three centre halves, but I think given that one of the only two available centre mids is Diakite, who kind of does like to drop into that back line at times, we'd basically end up with four centre halves on the pitch out of possession, which wouldn't be a good look for anyone. And also, I don't, if George Campbell is the only fit right back, which I think he will be, the last thing I want to see is George Campbell trying to play right wing back, because it'd be an absolute disaster. It's bad enough watching him play right back. So trying to watch him play right wing back would just be, it'd be hilarious for you, but it wouldn't be for us. It'd be
if he plays.
Yeah, it'd be awful. Well, I mean, that's another worry, is that, Philogene against George Campbell is a mismatch. It really is. But I think that's what he will go with. I think the big question is, what version of that formation does he go with? And the big sort of variant in how we play that formation is who starts up front. If it's Hegerber, he will try and be a proper 9, and the ball will go into him early, potentially at times long, and he will then potentially try and bring other players in through that. If it's Maja will drop in almost to the 10, and then Price will go in beyond him, which is the version I prefer, if I'm honest. I think
more creative.
Yeah, and Maja's a better striker than Hegerber. Like, Hegerber's he works his socks off, and I love him to pieces for it, but he doesn't look like he'd score in a month of Sundays at the moment.
Paid $5 million, didn't you? About 5 million for him, didn't you? From Brand, was it? Norway?
Yeah, in and around that, but not quite as much as that, to be honest. But look, he's a good player, and he's in the Norwegian international side, which, frankly, at the moment is not the easiest thing in the world to do. when the other strikers are Haaland, Sorloth, and Strand Larsen, if you're getting in that squad, you're doing something right. So he is doing something right. The problem is he doesn't look well. Part of it is he doesn't look like a goal scorer, but the other side of it, Matt, as I alluded to before, is we're not creating any blooming chances. So, I mean, people are getting on Hegerber's back because he scored one league goal this season, which was a largely meaningless goal just in injury time against Borough when we were already 2-0 down. But the guy's getting no blooming chances. As I say, Price has got 5 now, I think, but most of those have been screamers from outside the box. So, and that's not Hegerber's game. So basically, if you're not a player who can smash one from 20 yards, you're not scoring for us at the moment because we're creating nothing in the penalty area, really.
Yeah. Game sounds like it could be easily be 0-0 this game Saturday. Sounds exactly like Town. I mean, we'll come to Price in a minute, but I saw an article, something on one of the news forums, saying how well Mowat was doing for you. I mean, are you kind of reliant on him? He's the captain. You're kind of reliant on everything going through him in midfield, are you?
Is that Mowat, mate? You broke up a bit then.
Yeah, sorry, Mowat. Yeah, Mowat. All roads through Mowat.
Oh, massively! Like Mowat's ridiculously important to us. I mean, there's a weird stat that in the last 18 months, when Alex Mowat has missed a game, we've won once. Oh, sorry, when Alex Mowat hasn't started, even he doesn't even have to miss the whole game. Even if he's on the bench, Alex Mowat. He's so important. We don't win without him. It's just that simple. And the problem for him is he's pushing on to 31, and there's a very good chance we'll ask him to play 3 games in a week because there ain't nobody else. Unless we really jig things around and maybe potentially move Charlie Taylor to left back and move Callum Styles into central midfield, or move Price a little bit deeper, which I wouldn't like to see because, like I say, he's one of only 2 blokes who's likely to score a blooming goal. I don't want to see him any deeper. I mean, nobody else is going to kick the ball in the net, which last time I checked was the point of football. And we've got real problems in central midfield, and Alex Mowat's super important to us, but he's also a guy who's had some quite irritating injuries from his point of view over the years. He's had a couple of ops, stuff that I imagine gets aggravated when you're over 30 and you have to play 3 games in a week, not to mention 3 games where you have to end up sitting on a bus for quite a few hours going to and from 2 of them. So I think it's a big ask of Alex Mowat, but I've got a funny feeling we might have to ask it of him because it'll be interesting to see what he does. It'll be interesting. He has got an option. He could push Styles in there. Styles plays central midfield for Hungary. So
he's Hungarian, this kid called Callum Styles.
He's not Hungarian, is he? Let's be honest. He's Yorkshire. But he's, I mean, if you hear him interviewed, he's the least Hungarian ever. I mean, it's like Matty Cash claiming he's Polish. None of us are having this, but yeah, I mean, he does play there for his country, so I don't think it's out the question that he does that and he pushes Charlie Taylor in there. It was noticeable he didn't start Charlie Taylor against Watford because, again, Charlie Taylor is another player that I'm not sure he's got 290 minutes in a week in him, and maybe the plan is to push Callum Styles further forward against you to try and give Alex Mowat a little rest because maybe we need to. Is
he like the central defensive midfielder, Mowat, or is he pushing forward a bit more?
Oh, I mean, it's not really like that, to be honest with you, mate. We don't necessarily play with a defensive midfielder, and we do when Diakite's in there, but it doesn't really work like that. Mowat, if you want to think about Mowat's your quarterback. Mowat gets the ball off the snap and he gets it forward. That's what he does. He does a lot else. He works really hard. He gets himself involved, but I wouldn't say it's his job to sit in there. I mean, against Preston, he had the most progressive passes, the most key passes, but he also won the most tackles and had the second most shots behind Isaac Price. You know, Mowat can. The only thing Alex Mowat hasn't got is pace. And also he hasn't got age on his side, unfortunately. But he can largely do everything else, and when he's at it, he can run a game. It's just like I say, unfortunately, if he does play against you, it'll be his third 90 minutes in
heavy on the legs,
and it's a lot.
It's going to be interesting, the midfield battle. I think we'll have, because we didn't have Matasiwa, who was already missing from 5 yellow cards to suspended. So he didn't play in the Charlton game. I think we missed him. He's playing it, isn't it? Taking over from Morsey, picking up. We've got the same number and the same amount of cards.
You watch Darnell Furlong. Darnell Furlong's an absolute king of getting a yellow card. Normally daft ones for taking too long over a throw-in when you're winning, or mouthing off at a referee. To be honest with you,
poor old Darnell was
just kicking someone up in the air.
He was ditched Rashly Young on Tuesday. Darnell, he was on the bench. So that'd be interesting. Whether or not Nunes will come in. You talk about sort of quarterback style midfield players. Nunes is kind of that for us, but I think if Mowat versus Matasiwa is going to be an interesting one. Trevor in the comments here says, Chris, what Albion player should we try and sign in January? I'm not going to say we're going to sign this guy, but the Isaac Price, you've mentioned him a few times. I've seen him play a couple of times and I've seen you on TV. You got him from Everton, am I right in thinking that?
No. We got him from Standard Liège. He came through it. He came through at Everton.
That was it. Yeah. But he looks a hell of a player. Northern Ireland.
He's a cracking player. You can't have him though. Plus, to be fair, you don't buy attackers from us. Like
no defensive players.
I mean, to be honest, in answer to that question, probably the most obvious one would be Callum Styles, because you've injured the ex-West Brom left back that you've got. So,
Well,
I think that seems the most logical one, so that you can field a completely ex-West Brom back four.
He'll play in the 10 though, will he, Price? That's where he sits behind the striker.
Yeah, but as I say, you say behind the striker. Normally
interacting with, by the sounds of things,
he goes beyond and can quite often be the furthest player forward. Again, it depends who plays up front. If Hegerber plays up front, Hegerber will be a little bit more advanced. If Maja plays up front, Maja will drop a bit deeper. So it totally depends who plays up front. But yeah, I mean, look, most weeks Isaac Price racks up the highest XG. He has the most shots. You know, he really is our goal threat. He's our top scorer on 5 goals. There's not many who've got more than one, to be honest with you. So he's the key threat in there.
Yeah. What's his strengths then? I mean, how old? I mean, he's not very old, is he? Is he still a teenager? Is he like 19?
No,
20?
he's not a teenager. I think he's 20, 21. Isaac Price, 22. He turned 22 last month. I've just had a look, and I am correct. In the league, he is the only player with more than. No, Mikey Johnson's got 2. Sorry, Mikey Johnson's got 2. But yeah, in terms of his strengths. Look, he can do a bit of everything, to be honest, mate. Last season, we played him. I think the only positions on the pitch, outfield positions he didn't play was centre half and left back. He can do a bit of everything. He's all energy. He can tackle. He's tall. He's rangy. Like he's decent in the air. He's got a decent range of passing on him. His touch is brilliant. He's not lightning, but he's not slow. And like, if he squares somebody up, he can create that yard. You know, like, I mean, I always remember Chris Brunt wasn't fast, but he knew how to shift the ball at the right moment and just create enough space for a cross. He can do all of that. But this season, where we've found the value in Isaac Price is getting him into areas where he can shoot. And in terms of his shooting ability, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous at the moment. I mean, he's got 5 goals from 3.2 xG, but like his shooting he should actually have probably, according to his shot data, about 2 more goals than he's actually had, because he's hit enough quality shots to have 7 goals this season. He turns low value chances into high value chances by unbelievable. It's similar to what you guys see with Philogene. I mean, if you're so inclined and want to actually look at the shot data. Jaden Philogene is just an absolute joke, to be honest with you. It's the amount of goals he scores from the XG that he has is just insane. He's scored 5 goals from 1.3 expected.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. So
he's got to be on the pitch though, Chris, against you on Saturday. He started on the bench against Charlton. I still bugbear of everybody's, as you can hear in my voice.
Well, I don't think. Given that you got well and truly turned over, I imagine he won't start on the bench against us.
Yeah, I don't think so. Look, we're winding down a little bit here because we said we would be finished by 8 o'clock. You mentioned him earlier. Is he the lad from Celtic, Johnston, who's got the two goals? So he sits on the left-hand side of the striker, does he?
Yeah, right-footed, comes in on his right. But to be honest, he's sort of he's varied his threat a lot more this season. He's last season he didn't seem prepared to go down the line on his left at all. Whereas this season he's sort of he's shown himself to be prepared to go down the line. And I mean, talk about Price being like massively important in terms of goals. Mikey's got we've had nine assists for goals this season. Mikey's provided 4 of them. So he's if he is to creating chances what Mikey is to what Isaac is to scoring them, basically. I'll be honest, mate, we're fairly predictable at the moment. If anybody was having money on Albion, I'd only have money on Isaac Price to score, and I'd only have money on Mikey Johnston to set it up. To be honest with you, that it seems pretty much where we are at the moment. Mikey's a brilliant player. I mean, he's in terms of successful take-ons, he's got the best success rate of anybody in the league who's done 20 or more take-ons. There's only Fatawu who's even completed more take-ons than him, and Fatawu's just attempted a ridiculous amount, which is why he's completed so many. Mikey's, for me, is the best dribbler in the league. Like he can beat people. He can just leave them all. He can beat them all ends up, and some of the stuff he does is just absolutely magical. There was one against Preston, which the club clipped up and put on the Instagram, where he nutmegged 2 Preston players in one move, which was just ridiculous. He's an ankle breaker and a career ender. The lad. It's one of them. These people have got families, Mikey.
Be interested to see if Darnell Furlong plays right back on Saturday. Like I say, Ashley Young was in there Tuesday night. Given his age, I doubt he's going to play back-to-back games. So you could see Furlong come back. I don't know if not Harry Clark is going to be back in the mix for us, but be an interesting one. You're going to bring a lot of fans down, do you think? What was the away?
We always do. The Albion fans are unbelievable. Like they're fantastic. And look, we had a good following at Watford for a wet and horrible Wednesday night. And by the way, I think we will be in yellow and green to that other comment.
Will you? Well, we can beat them. We can beat teams in yellow and green.
I don't see why we wouldn't be, because we can't wear a home kit because you're blue. Yeah. And our away kit is grey, and it doesn't really it's not as distinct from your kit as the yellow and green one is. So I'd be surprised if we weren't in yellow and green, to be honest with you. The grey one, whilst it's not a colour, it's not a kit clash, it's not exactly distinct either. So I'd be surprised if we weren't in yellow and green. But no, we'll bring a lot of fans. We always do. They'll make a lot of noise, and it will probably take about your 3rd goal to shut us up. So
you still got that boiler mascot walking around at the Hawthorns? You're still sponsored by them?
He's there. I think we're in the last year of the Ideal Boilers deal, but
Ideal Boilers, that's it. Yeah.
He's still, still the big dog. We've even got the Boilerman halftime challenge, where people have to try and score goals past him. And frankly, he's proved himself to be an absolutely dismal goalkeeper. There was a rumor going around that it was David Button in the boiler suit. So there you go.
Go on then. Tell us what you think the score's going to be. You don't sound particularly confident. I mean, this does sound like the game Ipswich need really after Tuesday.
I'm not. Do you know what? Like, just because I don't come on opposition shows and predict us to lose, I'm gonna say we're gonna churn out some sort of spawny 1-1. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second. I think we're getting turned over, but I'm just not. If for an official score prediction, you're not going to get me to say Albion are going to lose. But honestly, what I believe and what I've just said, don't put any money on my 1-1 that I've just predicted.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Well, there you go, everybody. We were doom and gloom this week over the Charlton result. Chris has given us a little bit of hope. It's going to be a very interesting place, Portman Road, on Saturday, if Ipswich don't get the 3 points.
Well, and this is it, and this is why I hope we find a way to go for it a little bit from the off, because obviously you're not going to be very happy. You were a bit. You were well and truly turned over in the end by a team that I think I didn't put any money on it, but I think I had a look beforehand. I think Charlton were like 6-7 to 1 to win at your place. So
right.
Some people out there have won a tidy bit of money off that.
Yeah, they have. Right.
But yeah, I think if we go for it and we get the first goal, I think it really does. It ratchets the heat up. To be honest,
it will. Yeah. Colonel Tractor Voice, is it there? West Brom score. It will become toxic. Yeah, especially after Tuesday night.
And that's it. And I agree. And look, and I think that's obviously we will come and we will try and also keep it tight at the back. But I hope we don't sit in too much. I hope we start Maja up front and give ourselves the best possible chance of scoring. I hope he starts Illing Jr. and Johnson on the wings as proper out and out wingers. And I think and I hope we have a real go, because I mean, to be honest, the last time we came to Portman Road, I didn't fancy us one bit, and we put you on the back foot with that Tom Fellows goal. So we can do this, and we've got a little bit of a record of kind of producing results against Town when you probably don't expect it. So, I mean, that's my one hope. But really, as I say, 2 away games in a week, 2 long journeys, a lot of injuries, and and beaten as well. So not even going into it in particularly good form and not scoring goals and not creating a lot. It doesn't give me a lot other than sort of blind optimism and the idea that we might have a little bit of a hoodoo over Ipswich. There isn't a lot of reasons for me to feel positive about Saturday.
I thought you were going to go into that Kevin Phillips hat trick in that 5-1.
I know, that was good. Enjoyed that. That was a good one. So yeah.
All right, everyone.
Maybe we'll start him.
yeah, exactly. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. You've had the expert take from Chris on West Bromwich Albion. He's predicting a 1-1. Let's hope to God that Ipswich can pick up 3 points and give McKenna that cushion. I think he needs it. Okay, thanks for joining. We'll see you all very soon. All the best.
You've reached the end. Thank you so much for watching. Hit here to subscribe. It's totally free. And hit here for more Talking Town videos. I'll see you on the next one.